我们上次啊讲了这个碰瓷的这个就是这个川普政权、川普这个政府啊对中国的问题的一个新的看法。但是实际上这个不是今天才开始的，但是由来已久。但是就是美国一直有几股势力，就是在对中国问题上有不同的看法。这个川普上台以后呢，是由于他是一个非常务实的总统，所以他把一些问题就揭露出来了，就不愿意，就是很多人
他没有搞那个政治正确嘛。
对，好比说有人说白左，其实呢，在美国的两党，其实在中国问题上一直有了一直有了不同的看法，有这 debate。好比说我们今天呢，我们向大家介绍一个，就是美国共和党上届2016年的参选人，其实美国非常年轻有为的政治家
Rubio
叫 Mark Rubio。Mark Rubio 呢，他是这个古巴人的后裔，他是共产党，他爸爸从共产党权力逃出来的。
他对共产党的认识还是比较特别啊。
对，这个人呢，71年生的，算70后。他这个2016年参加总统大选的时候才45岁，而且他是一飞冲天就到了第3名。川普第1名，第2名是这个 Cruz， 第3名就是他，而且他在2个州赢得了选举，就是2个州他是第1名。他呢就是基本上他现在是这个叫美国国会，就是国会和这个行政当长
局执行委员会，
叫 CECC 的主席。他就对中国问题看法非常深刻，而且他主持了好多次听证会。他基本上有一个非常深刻印象，就是我们最近来看吧，就是说最近有一个非常有大家应该注意的是，就是美国和墨西哥这个谈判就成功了。
对，加拿大
成功
也，
所以说美国呢，它有这么一点，它如果要想，它从 long term 来说，有人说这是个短期，就是中美贸易是个短期的行为，但实际上它一直在布局，就是说它要取代中国，它得有地方去，所以说北美是一个大圈儿。以前我和台湾公司合作过，就是台湾以前那个加工制造商几乎都在墨西哥设有厂，后来因为在大陆太容易了。
所以墨西哥
他都
关了，
但对他们来说呢，他们是开这个厂是轻车熟路的，所以说呢，墨西哥取代这个发展中国家是有这个前景的，他这个3国这个协议呢又说，好比说汽车，你必须75%的零件在这3国生产，
对。
然后另外呢，你如果要是和其他的国家签订
这个所谓的非市场经济国家，
对，签订一些贸易协定，你必须经过那2个国家同意，所以这样就把他们绑定了。就是北美这个圈儿其实很大，有美国这么大的一个买家，而且它是个经济领头羊，而且有加拿大这个国家，它基本上是自由市场，和美国的价值一样，而且它有广袤的土地，它这个能源呢，可以说它储油量啊，它能源是世界第1的，然后又有墨西哥这个人口非常多，它虽然是比较乱呢，但是其实如果要是美国能把一些真正的工业，
去扶持它，
它其实。他的经济会上来的，这人嘛，只要富了，他就不会那么闹了嘛，他不会那么贩毒。所以说，而且他有帮助美国堵住中美洲的这个可能。而川普呢，现在怕的是这个非法移民，但是如果他要内部建立起来了，他移民美国不移民美国也没什么关系了。你好比说现在中国这个经济起飞了，以前来美国很难的，现在来美国已经不难了。
对，
所以说这个呢是川普的一个非常大的一步棋。你像 Rubio 这个人呢，他其实是中美洲来的嘛，他们就是古巴来的嘛，所以说呢，他们基本上这个思维啊非常有意思，所以说他一直坚持，就是他比 Rubio 比川普更早的说，对中国共产党，就是说他那时候已经不叫中国和把中共都分开了，所以我们呢介绍他一段演讲，然后请大家了解一下，这是他5月份的一次作证，
On the broader topic of trade in China, the United States has an enormous imbalance in trade, as we do with other countries, but none like we do with China. A trade imbalance, by the way, in and of itself is not problematic. It really depends on what's caused it. But the trade imbalance with China is problematic because of how it's happened. China was basically a poor, underdeveloped communist dictatorship, and it decided it wanted to open up to the world and become more economically prosperous. This was many years ago. And so the deal the world made with China is, we're going to help you develop economically. You're going to open up, we're going to help you invest, we're going to help you create opportunity, we're going to let your companies invest in our economies. There are rules in the world for trade. There are things that are allowed and things that are not allowed. For example, you are not allowed to steal another company's secrets. So if another company has figured out how to make something, that's proprietary, they own it, they developed it, they spent money creating it, you are not allowed to go there and steal that from them and start making it yourself. There are rules about, you can't have rules that say your companies cannot sell in my country, but my companies from our country can do whatever we want in your country. There are rules. China has never played by those rules, and everybody knew it. Nobody disputed it. But administrations from both parties, the consensus politically in America was, go ahead, let's let China cheat. Let them keep stealing things. Because once China becomes richer and more prosperous, they'll stop doing that stuff. As soon as China's economy grows big enough, not only will they stop doing all that, but they'll become a democracy. Everyone who said that was wrong. That is not what's happened. They are less democratic, less open today than they used to be, and they are no longer just stealing little secrets to kind of even be in the same ballpark. They are stealing $600 billion a year of intellectual property. $600 billion a year is equivalent to what we spend on the US military. They are stealing the equivalent of that every single year. How do they do it? Well, first of all, just straight out espionage. Time and again. I mean, they hack computers, they hack emails, they have spies embedded inside of companies. They straight out steal it through espionage. The second thing that they do to protect their industries and grow at our expense is they don't allow many of our companies to do business in China. Huge market. Their companies get to do business here, but they don't allow our companies to do business there. Some companies. They do allow other companies to do business in China, but here's the deal. If you do business in China, it has to be a joint venture with a Chinese company, 51% Chinese, 49% American company. And on top of that, there's another catch. If you want to do business in China with a Chinese company, you have to transfer your technology to them. So you want to build turbines, we'll let you build turbines in China, but you have to transfer to us the technology of how you do it. You know why they do that? Because once they figure out how to do it themselves, they don't need their American partner anymore. They kick you out, and now they're your competitor and may even put you out of business. That's happened a bunch of times. If they don't achieve it by forcing you to transfer, then they just straight out steal it from you. They also buy up small companies. You know, we have a law here that's called the CFIUS process, and basically when a foreign company, especially from a country like China, is buying in a key industry, it undergoes this review to make sure that it's not a bad deal, that they could be taking secrets that are tied to national security. So they figured it out. They're just buying small American companies, a bunch of them in many cases, that are under the level that we look at, these subcontractors, and finding their way in that way. Suffice it to say that we have a very serious imbalance with China, but the imbalance is not the dollars. The imbalance is in the structure of trade between China and the United States. And that's why we don't need a short-term trade deal. This is not about saying, all right, go ahead and buy more of our agriculture. Go ahead, you guys go buy more of the stuff that you were going to buy more of anyways, because you need to. And in exchange, you get to keep doing what you're doing now, and there won't be any tariffs. That's a short-term deal. And it might be a good headline. You can claim that you won, but in the end, it doesn't do anything to change this. In fact, it leaves us worse off. You might as well not have even gotten into this in the first place. You have actually strengthened them even more. And how they win this fight, by the way, let me tell you how they win. They go to all those American multinational corporations, many of whom are just interested in how their stock is performing from quarter to quarter, and they go to them and say, lobby your congressman, lobby your senator, lobby the White House, and convince them to drop all this. And they do it. Because these companies, what they want to do is they want access to the 1.3 billion people. A lot of them, they don't care if they're only 49% of the company in China. They don't care if they're stealing their intellectual property. By the time that matters, the CEO and the people making that decision will be long ago retired with a huge golden parachute bonus because they delivered a bunch of quarters of earnings. That's so short-sighted. They may not care about it, but those of us who work here have to. Because we do not want to live in a world where China dominates industry, not because they out-innovated us or worked harder, that's because they stole it from us. And by the way, the Chinese have figured all of this out. They have figured out exactly how to get things done in American politics. They don't lobby the government, they lobby the business sector. And then all these large corporations go marching into Capitol Hill and into the White House and scream and plead to drop all this. Of course they do. Because they're going to make a lot of money in China over the next 5 or 6 years. But a lot of these companies are one day going to be out of business. Short-term thinking. Their obligations are to their shareholders. Their shareholders are not all Americans. Our obligations are to the American people and America's future. And this is disastrous. We need a structural rebalance, not just a dollar rebalance. China is not a developing country. It is the second largest economy in the world. It will soon be the largest economy in the world. And yet we continue to let them cheat and steal. That's the trade issue. China intends to dominate the world in the key technologies of the 21st century: aerospace, biotech, quantum computing, artificial intelligence, 5G and telecommunication. They're going to dominate the world. You know why I know that? It isn't because I read some fancy article. It isn't because I'm on the Intel committee. It isn't because of a hearing. It isn't because of a meeting. You know how I know that? Because China says it. They have a plan called China 2025, Made in China 2025. And here's what the plan basically means. By the year 2025, China will be the dominant country in the world in these 10 to 12 industries, which happen to be the 10 or 12 industries that are going to determine the fate of the 21st century. Biotech, that basically means genetic medicine. The ability to cure diseases like Alzheimer's disease and others that are going to be a plague on the world in the years to come. Aerospace means technology for space. It also means aircraft and the like. They don't intend to be competitive in those fields. They intend to dominate those fields. Now, you may say, well, what's wrong with that? Countries can want to dominate fields. Well, that's fine. If you are going to become the dominant power in the world in these key technologies, you have every right to do so, but not by breaking the rules. And that's how they're doing it. How does China intend, what are they doing in order to dominate the world in 2025? To their credit, they invest a lot of money in research and in development. They also invest a lot of money in stealing whatever we've already done. So think about it. America invests taxpayer money, we innovate something, we innovate it, and after we spend all of your money innovating these things, they take it from us and steal it. It costs them nothing to start out exactly where we are after years and years of work. So think about that for a moment. That is an enormous competitive advantage. They have free research funded by the American taxpayer. They steal it. What else do they do? Do we not understand where we are headed? You have a country that is actively saying, we are going to displace you. We are going to be the most powerful country in the world, and we are going to do that at your expense. I can think of no more significant issue from the perspective of history than what is happening now. And do not misunderstand me. I do not come here to say that I want to be unnecessarily aggressive with China or that I want there to be a confrontation. China is going to be a rich and a powerful country. And we have no problem with that. We can't have any problem with that. But there has to be a balance. It cannot be a China that is rich and powerful and an America that is weak and not prosperous. Because those imbalances are what create wars. Those imbalances are what create misery. Those imbalances are what destabilize the planet. That can't be. We need to recalibrate this relationship. It needs to be rebalanced on the trade side. It needs to be protective on our national security side. It needs to be equalized. And what do you think the world's going to look like in 20 or 30 years? It's not going to be a better place. Democracy is morally superior to autocratic regimes. We should not be afraid to say that. And if for no other reason, if you want to put aside economics for a moment and confront it from that angle, we cannot allow an autocratic dictatorship to dominate the global economy and global technology by stealing from us at the expense of the democratic order in the world. Democracies are morally superior to dictatorships. And if we allow China to cheat and steal their way into dominance, there will be more dictatorships and less democracies on this planet. And we will all pay a price for that. So I urge everyone to take this issue seriously. And I urge the President to listen carefully to those in his own administration who understand this threat holistically for what it is. And I urge them to move in a direction that recalibrates the structure of our relationship with China economically, and that does not allow not just ZTE, but numerous other telecom companies from continuing to grow and spy at our expense. That is what I encourage them to do. That is the right thing to do for the future of this country, not some short-term deal that makes us feel good and potentially gets you a positive headline in the short term, but which historians will condemn as the beginning of the end of America's place in the world as its most influential nation.
我们刚才听了 Rubio 这个演讲呢，我们可能有一些感慨，就是说 Rubio 也是共和党的，对吧？他们的看法。那么我们现在再介绍一个，就是民主党最大的大佬，就是 Nancy Pelosi。
对，他是我们加州的议员哈。
他是加州议员，而且呢，他是几十年如一日，长期关注中国的。
对。
他89年的时候，就是旧金山现在这民主女神要他帮着他竖起来的。而且他呢，他是比较一个理想化的人，所谓的政治正确嘛，所以说他不是特别关心这个贸易问题。他特别关心中国的人权问题。
对。
而且对中国的妇女，对中国的这个64的这个异议分子，他几乎是尽全力帮忙。
对。
他几乎是这个中国受迫害人的朋友。而且呢，她是美国唯一的到现在唯一的女性最高的职位，她是当过众议院议长。她就是在多次场合里，她可以这么说吧，我以前一直认为她是最了解中国人的事儿。她基本上是从她这个女性出发，她是为一些这个不平等的事儿，而且是受迫害的人，甚至于是这个呼吁。所以说很多这个在国内受过迫害的人，像七金九律师啊，像这些被拆迁的呀，都受到过 Nancy Pelosi 的呼吁。包括西藏人权问题，包括很多问题，他一直是大家的朋友。这个人是我们的好朋友，所以我们现在呢来介绍他一段，他对中国有什么看法。就是我们着重来介绍一下两党
的代表人物，
是怎么看中国的。所以说今天这个
When there was the normalization of trade relations of China, we knew what was at stake: freedom and prosperity at home and in communities in China. So the commission was formed after that to monitor human rights and the development of the rule of law in China, etc. Because broken promises is the theme. Right from the start, at the time of Tiananmen Square, some of us came together and said, what leverage could we use to get the young people arrested at the time of Tiananmen Square free? What could we do to use our leverage that we had with the U.S. trade deficit to free those prisoners, to stop the proliferation of missile technology to Pakistan, which the Chinese were doing, and also to gain access to China's market? We thought with a $5 billion annual trade deficit, we were really had tremendous leverage. We worked very hard to stop the passage of the most favorable nation status for China, as it was then called. Mr. Wolf, at considerable risk to himself and to others, visited prisoners over and over again, brought home a record for us of prison labor products that we could demonstrate clearly that China was exporting to the United States, to make a case to the President of the United States, then President Bill Clinton, that China should, at the very least, shouldn't have most favored nation status, but they also, there could be some penalty. We said treat these people like you would treat intellectual property. You would do some tariff adjustment on intellectual property, treat intellectuals and people the same way. Well, anyway, we failed. We passed the bill, House and Senate. President Clinton vetoed the bill. We couldn't override the veto in the Senate. We did pretty well, all things considered. But we have been rejected by Democratic and Republican presidents on this score. So our concern is bipartisan in terms of that. Senator, how are you? So at the time, though, my point is, at that time, right in the early 90s, the trade deficit was $5 billion a year. And we thought we had tremendous leverage, right? So they said to us, oh, you're all wrong. You have to let peaceful evolution take care of this. Human rights will emerge, et cetera, and we'll have access to China's market. Well, when we brought up the bill again in order to defeat us, they changed the name from most favored nation status to normalization or whatever they called it. But nonetheless, we still continued the fight. Well, a few years go by, nothing. The trade deficit continues to grow and grow and grow. And today, actually, rather than $5 billion a year, it's over $6 billion a week, almost $1 billion a day. That's what peaceful evolution brought us, and the coddling of China. Corp went into the WTO, which we tried to temper. A few years later, when I was Speaker, I visited China, was honored by the People's Congress, the President of the People's Congress, who's the second most important person in China. When he came to Washington, I reciprocated, not quite as elegantly as they did, not that many courses in the dinner, but that was the very day China was violating the WTO in terms of rubber exports to the United States. That very day was the announcement. So when he came to the Speaker's office and I was welcoming him, I said, I'm sorry to have to welcome you in a manner that is sort of a complaint, but China is not honoring WTO, and I can't let the opportunity go by without telling you that. And he said to me, as he conferred with his associates there, we were told when we joined the WTO that we did not have to honor that provision. I mean, China continued to proliferate missile technology, still has non-trade barriers to our products going to China, violates our intellectual property rights. In any event, they've promised to do this, they promised to do that, they haven't done it. I think China is a very important country in the world. It's going to be successful. We rejoice in that success, but so much of it is at our expense. All that trade deficit going to China enabled them to have the foreign exchange that enabled them to buy into economies, buy political support in the rest of the world. We chose to ride a tiger, and the tiger will decide when we get off. And it has curtailed the ability of America to talk about human rights in China because the corporate interests are so great. But I say, if we do not, if we hesitate to speak out for human rights in China because of commercial interest, we lose all moral authority to speak out for human rights any place in the world. So this is about who we are as a nation, our values, trade, our workers, political power, geopolitical power on the part of the Chinese at our expense. And it was our decision to ride that tiger.
这个彭斯的演讲和这个 Trump 这个整个中国的政策，其实也不是一朝一夕，是经过，就像彭斯说，经过多少年，
积累下来，最后大家形成的共识。
就是他的话了，就是我们希望，他变成民主自由，这个进入国际大家庭，但是失望了。